Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Alpha Heavy Gamer. Glad you could join me today. We got some pretty fun stuff to talk about, really exciting things. I kind of been holding out on the dev server content because things were changing a lot. A lot of stuff was incomplete and some things were missing, frankly. The Mirage F1C, and guess what? It's finally here. If you've been watching any of my content at all, you can know that I'm a lover of French aircraft, and I'm extremely happy that we have finally gotten the Mirage F1. It's extremely late, but let's jump right into what we got here. So, looking at what is on the dev server right now, the Mirage F1 is going to have the Magic 1 and the Magic 2 missiles equipped. So, that's really good news. The Magic 2 is a all-aspect infrared missile, which is awesome. It's going to be similar in capability to the AM9L, although I believe the Mirage F1 was capable of carrying the AM9L itself, so maybe we could even see it get that later. I know a lot of things are still incomplete. Another thing I was quite pleased about was the Mirage F1 is going to get the Super 530F missile. So that missile, it's a semi-active radar homing missile still, but it's pretty amazing with its capability. It supposedly has a 40-kilometer range and a speed of up to Mach 5, and it is supposed to be really good at picking up and tracking and hitting targets at very low altitude. So I'm looking forward to that. But the real meat here is the Serrano 4 radar. So this radar, you know, it's a pulse Doppler look down shoot down radar. France is finally getting something competitive. This is going to be a very good piece of kit. The Mirage F weapon system, I think, is going to be pretty good in this game. Looking at the loadout options, I don't see that it's complete. The Mirage F1 should be able to carry, you know, missiles on the wingtips, whether it's Magics or Sidewinders, and you should be able to carry 2 Super 530s under the wings, and perhaps even a Super 530 on the center pylon under the fuselage, or even a gun pod. So at a minimum, I'm expecting at least 2 IR missiles and 2 semi-active radar homing missiles, for a total of 4 when I step out in the Mirage. Of course, the jet also gets self-protection. We got countermeasures, you know, chaff and flares. It also has a radar warning receiver. You know, I talk about jamming pods a lot. The aircraft is capable of carrying a jamming pod. However, Gaijin has not implemented those mechanics for aircraft yet. It's on helicopters, but we are still holding out for jamming to be on aircraft. So now that we have the Mirage F1C, what I'm looking forward to next, and I know I'm greedy, right? I'm already on the next thing. Looking at the F1CT, so that's the next possibility. The aircraft is an upgraded F1C with enhanced multi-role capabilities, and the centerpiece of that jet being the Serrano 4 MR pulse Doppler radar, which has ground mapping modes in addition to its air-to-air capabilities. Okay, so the model is beautiful. The aircraft sounds amazing. The flight model is also pretty good. I was not suffering from, you know, airspeed loss when I made sharp turns like I do in the Mirage 3s. So I am really looking forward to getting this thing into some juicy air combat. Alright, so jumping over to one of my other favorite lines, the Italian F-104S ASA. So the Air Italia F-104S ASA is finally in the game. It has taken forever. I'm so happy to see this jet. I had been staying away from making dev server content on it because it was so incomplete, and it was really giving off the wrong signal. I mean, it didn't have the gun, it didn't have countermeasures, it didn't have an RWR. So I was like, this isn't how it's supposed to be, so I'm going to wait until we get some stuff. Now, Gaijin has delivered on that, so it still isn't complete, but at least what I see now is some of what it's supposed to have. So it's got 4 AM9Ls, which is awesome. It can now carry the gun with the missiles. It has the 2 ASPID semi-active radar homing missiles, and it's also able to carry the gun with that. Now it's coming with countermeasures, which was a bottom line requirement. You can't play top tier jets without countermeasures. So it has that now. It's got his RWR, which I'm very happy about. but it's not out of the woods yet. So the radar, it is supposed to have the FIAR R21G M1 pulse Doppler look down shoot down radar. So when I was looking on the dev server and I was looking at the X-ray, it did not look like it didn't say look down shoot down. So I'm expecting Gaijin is still working on this jet as well, getting it ready to come to the live server. So don't fret, the F104S ASA is going to be good when Gaijin finally puts everything on it that it's supposed to have and it hits the live server. Can't promise it's going to be good, but I expect, based on historically what it comes with, that the jet should be somewhat competitive, especially with the all aspect AM9Ls. So if you've been checking out my content for a while, you know that I'm a staunch advocate of the smaller nations in the game. You know, the not smaller like that, but the less played nations with not as much equipment. I'm a staunch advocate for them to get the things that they do have. So for French aviation, I'm totally happy that the Mirage F1C is finally coming. It's extremely late, but I'm glad it's here. Same thing for Italy. I made a video a while back for France, so I'll put that at the end screen, and also made a video for Italy. Is their top tier aviation dead? I'll put that at the end screen as well. But I made videos for both these nations air because they were suffering pretty hard. For France, we know the Mirage 3s both got down tiered because they were so bad. And with Italy, I mean, the F104s just were not competitive anymore at all. I mean, they didn't have pulse Doppler radars, and it was looking pretty bleak. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this up, but for Italy, I'll wrap that one up. What I'm looking for after the F104S ASA is possibly for them to do the ASA M. I did a video on that, which, like I said, I'll link at the end screen, but the M doesn't really introduce much more capability. I think it should be a modification, not a separate jet, if they introduce it, because it does take a lot of the capability off the jet. The ASA M is more of a pure interceptor, and it kind of, like I said, looks like a downgrade, despite it getting some updated avionics like GPS, TACAN, and INS. You know, those things that really aren't useful in the game because Gaijin can't model that. The ASA M also loses a lot of its ground, it loses all of its ground strike capabilities. I think it even loses its countermeasures. It also loses its 20mm gun. So we might not want the ASA M. Alright, so thanks for checking out the video. Those are my thoughts on that. I plan on following up after we get the patch with aircraft, you know, that we didn't get, things that are missing, especially for France and Italy. Maybe my own roadmap of what I expect to come next. I don't know, still thinking on that. But as always, thank you for checking out the video, and please, you know, like, subscribe, you know, sharing this video, you know, helps me get out there more. And I love you guys' comments. I love answering them and seeing them. So if you got questions about anything, just put it in the comments and I'll get back to you. All right, thanks again. I'll see you in a future video.